Jiena Marlene Xikluna nagħtikom merħba għat-tieni programm ta' Maltese Down Under, magażin kulturali għal Maltin fl-Awstralja li jinkludi intervisti kemm bil-Malti kif ukoll bl-Ingliż. Fil-programm tal-lum ser nitkellmu mal-moħħ u l-organizzatur ta' Made in Malta, attività popolari li ta' kull sena tattira mijiet ta' żgħażagħ Awstraljani ta' nisel Malti. Ser niltaqgħu wkoll ma' xef Malti li ser jgħidilna dwar l-istorja tal-migrazzjoni tiegħu minn Malta għall-Awstralja. U fl-aħħar nett ser nitkellmu ma' wieħed mid-duo ta' DJs Maltin Tanisha li huma fost l-aqwa 100 DJs fid-dinja. L-ewwel intervista tal-lum ser issir minn Mark Avellino ma' Joey Vella, l-organizzatur tal-attività annwali Made in Malta, attività li tittella kemm fil-belt ta' Melbourne kif ukoll f'Sydney.
The Maltese Islands and the population of Malta intrinsically have a relationship with music, from the bands down to the contemporary music, Eurovision of course, and most importantly during the summer, dance music. Today we've got Joey Vella, who's the mastermind behind Made in Malta. Welcome to Malta Down Under, Joey.
Thank you.
What is Made in Malta?
Well, basically, Made in Malta is essentially it's a Maltese night. The way it was basically created is, it's a while back now, about late 2008. I've got friends of different ethnicities, and I always used to go to Italian nights or Macedonian nights. And then when we started running events, I just sat down with one of my friends who were Maltese, and he's like, "Why don't we just run a Maltese night? You know, it's never been done before," and that's how it all started. And I'll never forget in 2009, the first one, I thought I'll start with a small little venue to begin with, and I've never seen a line that big. There was probably easy 2,000 people, and unfortunately we could only fit about 500 people in.
So when you started, did you bring some Maltese acts to Australia?
Not for the first one. The first one was just more your local Maltese DJs, but then 2010 we started to bring Maltese musicians from DJ Ruby, Miss Roberta and Tanisha, and the following year we incorporated Irolosco into Made in Malta. So
when you saw that response to the first event, and that would have blown my mind if I kind of had 2,000 people suddenly turn up to something so new. What did it sort of inform you about the way that people are hungry for this sort of thing?
100%. Like when I saw that turnout, one, obviously I didn't expect it, but it showed me that there was a need. There was a need for some sort of event to bring, especially the younger Maltese community together.
So with the younger generation of Maltese and their interest in the event, have you found that that's just kept growing over the last 8 or 9 years that you've been doing it, or?
It has to a certain extent. For the time being, we've kept the events to about 1,000 capacity, and the last few years we've actually kept them a little bit smaller. But moving forward, we are definitely going to be bringing in more larger venues, and the plan is in the next couple of years we want to do the biggest Made in Malta that we've ever done.
With the kind of variation in different types of places that you're holding the event, like this year's was a boat, does that give you an opportunity to do something different every year?
Definitely. Like I've been doing events now for quite a while now, and if you keep on using the same venue, it does get stale. So it's always good to keep things a little bit differently. And this year we done it on a boat. In 2014 we done it on a boat as well, which went really well, and we've incorporated into Sydney this year as well. And a lot of people did ask to bring on a boat again, so we just kept to their wishes.
Yeah. So when you think about the next generation of Maltese, which you're part of that group, what do you think is the attraction of the Made in Malta thing? Is it just because it's this collaboration of everything, or? It's
an outlet for all the young Maltese to come together. Like, again, going back to 2009, I'll never forget, the Maltese are quite patriotic and quite proud, and just getting them there all together for the one event, it's good, it's great.
So, you talk about Maltese pride and the kind of excitement that's developing within the young Maltese. I know certainly when I was growing up it wasn't as prominent. What do you think it is that's sort of got this current generation of Maltese just embracing their culture?
I guess as well, because there hasn't been anything for the younger Maltese for so long, and a lot of people did ask for something.
Do you think that there's an awareness of what music is coming out of Malta from a dance point of view?
Definitely now, especially got a Maltese DJ Tunisia, which is actually a group. They've actually come quite strong. Actually, one of the biggest DJs in the world now, which is really good to see. Definitely the Maltese know who they are. Even with DJ Ruby. DJ Ruby is probably the first and biggest export. He actually created dance music within Malta. He was the first person.
Wow.
So it's basically down to him. But definitely the Maltese know who these people are.
So you know, when those acts come here and they kind of see that there's a bit of a following happening, you know, you've had a little bit to do with them. So what sort of response do they have when they see this reverse kind of interest in them from another?
Yeah, like going back a few years when I was talking to Ruby and Joven from Tunisia, like he's like, this is, from Joven's word, this is Grotta. This is Grotta in Melbourne.
Fantastic.
So like they didn't expect such a massive turnout from essentially the other side of the globe.
I guess that's the beauty of music, though. It really transcends everything.
Definitely.
And the fact that you're in that contemporary space, it's something that's current. It's something that anyone that's sort of into music, but also it just happens to tap into their culture coming from Malta. It gives you that sort of chance to build something really big from it. You know?
Definitely. I mean, music brings everyone together.
Yeah. If you were to sort of look into the future, what would you hope Made in Malta will be able to achieve for the Maltese? I mean,
at present we're doing it in Melbourne and Sydney. So we've been doing that. Geez, I think this is our 8th year that we're doing it. We're hoping to one day to do it in Adelaide. I know there is some sort of interest, but we need more interest, to be honest, to actually make it successful, and perhaps even in Queensland as well. That's the goal, to branch it out to other states one day. I mean, even as well, maybe even on an international scale, perhaps maybe even do one, let's say in the UK, even in Canada.
Wow.
Like we've definitely had interest, so who knows?
I guess the biggest obstacle is being limited to what you can achieve, and also a little bit of cash.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not cheap to do these type of events,
Yeah.
and it is definitely a big risk to do it because you outlay all the funds yourself. So there's no type of sponsorship at present involved. So look, it's again, life's always a risk with whatever you do, but I love doing it.
Yeah.
We love doing it.
So Joey, you know, when you're booking your event and you're getting your lineup together, where do you source your talent? So I understand there's a combination sometimes of overseas and local talent.
Correct.
Yes. So are the local talent Australian Maltese, or is that the only?
Like,
you know?
we try to keep obviously Made in Malta as Maltese as you come, and all the local DJs are all of Australian Maltese descent.
Well, Joey, thank you very much for your time and talking to us about Made in Malta. It's been fantastic to hear about somebody that's so passionate about the culture of music and that link that happens between the sort of Malta today and also the Maltese over here.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Joey Vella, the mastermind behind Made in Malta, one of the most exciting opportunities for people to be involved in Maltese culture and music happening in Melbourne and Australia today.